Matthew Stafford. Let's hear from him on the Super Bowl win for the LA Rams in his first season with the team not being about him.
Just a long time coming for a lot of guys. You know, this is Andrew Whitworth, Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey, so many great players. Robert Woods on our team, Cooper, so many guys that I could name that deserve this for the way they go to work every single day, the way they care about each other as teammates and people. Just so happy to get it done for those guys.
Hey, the two girls on his lap, they look like identical twins. They couldn't be more different in their demeanor. I've seen that a couple of times now, and it cracks me up. The one is just sitting there, and the other one is all personality, and I'm gonna act like I'm talking like daddy, and it's just great. I bet he doesn't need to do much cardiovascular work in the off season. Just chasing those two around the house will keep him in shape, Charean.
Well, think about how Phillip Rivers felt all those years, Mike, with his many kids. He certainly didn't get any rest.
Yeah, so Matthew Stafford can rest easy knowing he's gotten his Super Bowl win. And I'm hesitant to even go there, but because I think it's stupid to argue whether or not somebody should be in the Hall of Fame when they clearly have years left on their career. Okay, Aaron Donald making it obvious he may be done. He's a walk-in Hall of Famer. Matthew Stafford is still going to keep going. He's going to keep playing. He's 34, and I don't know how many more years he has left. We witnessed this year the kind of physical toll that he endured during his time with the Lions. Even if he's only got 4 years left, he's still got 4 years left. He can do a lot in those 4 years. He is surprisingly higher on the all-time records list than you would think. Pull him up. Go to ProFootballReference.com. Pull up career passing yards. Pull up
12.
Career touchdown passes, attempts,
12.
completions. He's getting higher and higher and higher on those lists. And if he plays 4 more years, the point is there are chapters, big chapters left in this book. So let's not get indignant, Richard Sherman or anyone else, about Matthew Stafford not being a Hall of Famer. He isn't dead. He isn't retiring. He's got more time to play football. It's stupid to have this conversation now, Charean.
Well, it is because he does have more time, and winning a Super Bowl is significant. But you look at the quarterbacks who won a Super Bowl, the Trent Dilfers and some of those guys, and you don't have them as Hall of Famers. You look at what you see and determine whether that guy is a Hall of Famer. And, you know, the yards and the touchdowns aren't going to do it for Matthew Stafford. When you talk about Vinny Testaverde, as MDS pointed out, and Kerry Collins, both retired in the top 10 in passing yards, and we don't think of either one of them as Hall of Famers. So I'm going to need to see more from Matthew Stafford before we really get into that conversation. 12 seasons, 1 Pro Bowl. You know, when you get in and you talk about Hall of Famers, we don't really look at Pro Bowls anymore because there are more than 100 Pro Bowlers every single year. So guys have 6, 8, 10 Pro Bowls. It's not uncommon. But when a guy has 1 Pro Bowl, it's pretty significant. So he's going to need to add to that. I thought he should have been a Pro Bowler this year, frankly. He probably was, I know he had the 2 interceptions, but he probably was in that MVP conversation. But he's got to have a little bit more in his career, and he's got time to do that. So he's sort of started to rewrite the history away from Detroit, where he had the 1 5,000-yard passing season, and that was his Pro Bowl season. But he has time, Mike. He has time to still do this. Another 4 years like he played this year, and we are talking about Matthew Stafford as a Hall of Famer.
And frankly, there's a certain irony in this idea of applying extreme scrutiny to Matthew Stafford's Hall of Fame candidacy by Richard Sherman, because some would say if we apply intense scrutiny to what he actually has done and what his role was in the Legion of Boom defense and how that system made him maybe better than he was, frankly, if we apply that kind of scrutiny, maybe people come to the conclusion that he's not the presumed Hall of Famer that everyone seems to think he is.
Well, and the thing is, Mike, I always tell people like how hard it is in the Hall of Fame room. And you talked about the no-brainer Hall of Famers. I've been in that room when the presenter, Mike Chappelle, in the case of Peyton Manning, stood up and said, ladies and gentlemen, I present Peyton Manning, and sat down, and that was it. There was applause. That was all. That's all that candidate needed. And when you look throughout the NFL, I mean, think about the active players right now. There are very few of those guys where somebody would stand up and say, ladies and gentlemen, I present Aaron Rodgers. Ladies and gentlemen, I present Aaron Donald. A handful of the players. Tom Brady. There's not many of them, though, that's going to happen. There's going to be a discussion. Even with Ray Lewis, there was a short discussion on Ray Lewis and whether he was a Hall of Famer. So, yes, there is discussion almost every single player. And when you look at most of the players in the NFL, there were flaws with them. There are things that you could say, I don't think they're a Hall of Famer. But with Aaron Donald, there's no question. With other guys in this league, I do think there's a question, and it's going to take some looking into their careers. And as you said, maybe you look at the systems sometimes that they play in.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. But the bottom line is Matthew Stafford has more football left in him, and his career is not yet ripe for conversation about whether or not he will or won't get to the Hall of Fame.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.